Special event alert.
The guy ahead of me at 7-Eleven was buying $100 of lottery tickets, and there were no auto picks, which is excuse number 99 for being late for Changeover, your weekly space news and variety show. I'm your host, Marty Smith, and I'm joined by Mr. History, Eric Perrott.
Hey guys, what's going on?
And our puzzle princess, Anna Mondragon.
Yes, really good excuse. But you could have left. You
Yeah,
could have just left. You could have gone to another grocery
I
store.
know, but I wanted something to drink, and I didn't have lunch. So we're here to bring you the latest headlines and updates pertinent to all Guardians and to the lesser branches as well. So take your seats, get informed, and have a laugh as we present Late for Changeover. Oh, I forgot my applause.
Hey, I wanted to let you both know that I have an update. I have an update on why Jake's not with us tonight.
Well, okay.
He contacted me for advice on how to start his OnlyFans website.
You made me nervous. I thought it was pertaining to his text. I was like, oh my gosh. There's
dealing with sexy flannel, out of the closet.
Did you tell him first you got to make a ton of content before you launch, right?
Yeah, you can't go in not prepared.
Yeah.
So he's cutting flannel sleeves off. He's cutting them across the midriff so his stomach shows. I gave him some
kind of making some shorter on the sides versus
some cut off jeans.
When you pull like a woman, when you can pull your thong up over your hip, just I gave him that one. He'll do well with that.
Imagining him doing that with that look in his retirement picture.
Oh yeah. That's awesome.
I know, Eric, you did kind of set me up for that because I was like, oh, he's off seeing a friend who lost the child. And I was like, whoa.
I know.
I
got scared.
I know Jake's the most empathetic, helpful guy you would ever be surprised that he is. It's amazing. Yeah. I mean, I remember he used to take leave and go to foreign countries and do do work for him. Yeah, mission work. So it was really weird.
Like
I was like, really? You did that? And he goes, yeah, I wouldn't do that. I was like,
and he comes back with all these parasites and everything. So not only is he giving his time, he's giving his body, his digestive system.
I couldn't resist. I thought he'd enjoy a little poke.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. One way or another. Sure. Yeah. Very good. That was a good one. Good to see you guys. Eric, y'all, is the Masters this weekend?
It is. Starts Thursday.
Do you have money on a golfer or a team of golfers? Are you playing fantasy golf?
I am.
They don't have fantasy.
They do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I am in a league where starting back in January and it goes through August. And for every tournament, you have to pick a golfer. So there is no freaking skill in it. You just pick a golfer. If he makes the cut, they get paid. And whatever they get paid, you get points. It equates to your points.
Oh,
if they don't make the cut, you get 0 points. At the end, all the way going to August, whoever's got the most points wins. It's about $4,000.
How many golfers typically make a cut at the weekend level?
Oh, you're talking about between 60 and 80 golfers.
Is that what it is for the final couple rounds?
The last 2 days.
Yeah.
So,
wow. Well, then how does it work? Does everybody just pile onto the top 5 golfers in the world and you go from there or what?
Well, here's the thing. You can only choose him once. Once you use him.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah.
You can't use the golfer again.
Yeah.
So
That's sort of like what do they call that? Like survival leagues or something like that.
yeah,
Where
like if
you
you have,
gotta bet a team every week or something like
yeah,
that. Yeah, I got
yeah.
you. That's pretty
So
good.
we also
I
have
like it.
skins too. So if you pick a golfer that nobody else in the league picked and he wins, that's an additional $120.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
it's not the
So you get
skins that you thought it was, Anna.
Mm,
She
I
lost
couldn't
interest quick when
imagine.
we were talking about golf.
I know. She was like,
They're talking about golf. I don't hear them.
Oh, so
that's why I
funny.
was trying to pull her back in. I was trying to pull her back in.
Well, but I couldn't imagine a golfer in skins versus
Now,
shirts.
it was
I did-
interesting.
I did hear.
I did read an article. I know Eric knows who she is. Anna, have you ever heard of Paige Spiranak?
Sporadic.
Spiranak, is that how you say her last name?
Sputnik.
She is like I don't know how good a golfer she is. Maybe top 20. I don't know if she's even that good, but she's really good looking, right?
Oh, nice.
And
She's an influencer, a golf influencer.
right, she and she got
What is that
criticized
mean?
for, well, she golfs on the side and does like social media full time.
Yeah.
She gets
Now she used to be a college athlete, and she
Yeah.
also made the LPGA, but she didn't maintain her card.
Oh, really? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
she didn't stay there.
But there was
But
some
she's
article
good.
where they were criticizing what she was wearing, and she was like, "Hey, I used to be a gymnast, so I'm used to going out to and competing in very skimpy outfits." And I'm like, "That's a
Skimpy
stretch
they
to
are.
get from gymnast to soft porn out on the golf course." But
Skimpy they are.
I don't know who's complaining. There's no guys going, "Oh, I just can't watch this." Yeah,
The
no.
distraction would be
The
it.
disgrace to the game. Oh.
Golf.
Who is the woman golfer who smokes, Eric?
Charlie Hull. She's
Is that
an
her name?
English woman. Mhm.
Yeah.
Hull.
So
Is she
she's-
good?
yeah,
Or does smoking affect her game?
She would tell you it does not.
Does she get the smoke in her eyes as she?
I don't think so. I think she's like a barmaid who's out there playing golf,
She's
Like,
another one that's really
hanging out of her
attractive
mouth
too.
and stuff. Yeah,
Except when the
smoking.
cigarette's in her mouth. But she's really attractive.
She's
Nice.
attracted to a different sort. You know?
Yeah. Charlie Hull is her name.
Hole.
Not whole.
Hull.
Holly.
If you were
No,
to Google
Charlie.
Charlie. If you
Oh.
Google Charlie Hall
I see Holly and Hole.
She's like
And put-
Holly Hole. Got her.
and put cigarette up there, you'll see her with a cigarette in her mouth.
I don't know what Anna's searching.
No idea. I give up.
Charlie Hole. Hole. Holly.
Hole.
Hole. Holly Hole.
Holly Hall.
That sounds
Nope.
terrible.
It is terrible. We don't want to go there.
Ah,
There is
my
a-
God.
A Holly Hole.
I'm sure there is.
A Holly and Hole.
I'm afraid to ask. Your search history is going to be a problem.
If anybody's listening who's named Holly Hole, please, we'd love to have you on the
Yes.
show right now. So,
Yes, please.
all right, here let's go to the news. This is declining
Yeah.
quickly, so let's get on with it. All right, I didn't send you this. I didn't even make headlines today. Oh well, we have to go without any headlines. But I didn't send you this because I wanted to surprise you with it. All right. So this first story is from Yahoo News UK.
Uh-oh.
And let me preface it by saying, you know how the news and movies and everything out there is like, oh, you should see how good the Russians are. You should see how good the Chinese are. Their technology, cool.
Far
we're-
beyond.
Yeah, we always have to catch up. We're always behind, right? Well, they're years ahead of us on this stuff, right?
I don't buy any of that crap.
Well, this next story might go your way, Eric.
Mhm.
So recently, China's Civil Aviation Authority issued the world's first air operations certificate for a remotely piloted aircraft system to 2 urban aerial mobility companies operated by EHang. Basically air taxis. All right. So they got air taxis going. They've already authorized them. This development, which took place on March 28th, is said to mark a major step toward the commencement of the passenger era in China's low-altitude aerospace economy.
Wow.
Do you want to see the air taxi flight?
Oh, show me.
Like for
Goodness.
reals.
Oh, look at this thing. That's perfect.
That does not.
Fortunately, the pilot wasn't injured.
What's up with the hot air balloons in the background?
It was like at this public park. They were going to take
Oh
off.
my goodness. That was a failure.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
So they just have hot air balloons in the public park?
I guess so. But thank God that thing didn't get up. What if he was like, oh, I can't control it, right in a hot air balloon?
I think the Wright brothers would have even laughed at that attempt, man.
So that's China's air taxi.
It's a good idea, though.
Well, I couldn't
Just to have
understand
little,
if
pilots.
Yeah, but there was just one guy in it, right? Now, does a guy get in and somebody remote controls him, flies him to somewhere?
Yeah.
It's not like
they could have a whole operations floor.
I kind of thought maybe it's like the scooters or the e-bikes. You swipe your credit card and you're like, hop in.
Yeah.
And the guy's upside down next to you. Fuck.
But you know what? That makes more sense because they still have to establish, roadways in the air and
Yeah. And this guy obviously had confidence enough, if he'd have got off the ground, had confidence enough to maneuver in between the balloons.
Yeah.
If I was one of those balloon owners, I'd be like, you're not going to fly that damn thing, are you, around here? Because this was pretty expensive.
Well, and if you would think back to China's government dictates everything. So China would have said, get out of my way. This is testing airspace.
Right. But very hard to picture that. So maybe I've got the wrong image of China and its society because I'm like, here's a park. They got their own hard air balloons. They don't say CCCP on them or something like that.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know. Maybe they can do more than we think they can. So,
well, anyway. if that's their technology, they stole the wrong stuff from us. They did. They got the wrong stuff, man.
That's true. Okay. God, this is going to be really a pain in the ass to try to edit because I usually use when I put the banner up to cut and now I can't. Anyway, next story coming from Spaceflight Now. All right, so we're going to get technical, but we're going to do some money here. Right? So in light of all the Doge cuts comes this next story about awarding contracts, in real life, awarding contracts. So this story is the U.S. Space Force awards $13.7 billion in new national security launch contracts to Blue Origin, SpaceX, and ULA. So now we got 3 carriers contracted by the government at a low sum of $13 billion.
Yeah.
Is that just for competition? Just for competition?
Yeah, I think they want. I mean, and finally, the government's like, "Hey, we want a choice," and it's kind of along the same lines. And they're like, "You got SpaceX Dragon over here, and you got Boeing Starliner over here, so we can have multiple carriers going up." And now you just got SpaceX Dragon over here. So, but this is for lift. So this is to carry payloads to space and all that stuff. The contract is sorry. A long-awaited launch contract for national security missions was announced by the U.S. Space Force after close of business last Friday. The mission spreads nearly $14 billion worth of missions between Blue Origin, SpaceX, and United Launch Alliance. The contract is known as Lane 2 of the National Security Space Launch Phase 3. These are firm, fixed-price, indefinite delivery contracts that will be issued in batches of missions to the launch providers over a 5-year period beginning this year. So let's see. Lane 2 versus Lane 1. The Space Force intentionally split NSSL Phase 3 into two distinct lanes in order to help expand the availability of launch providers based in the U.S. Lane 2, this Colonel Doug Pentecost. It almost looks like Pentecost, but it's Pentecost. Colonel Doug Pentecost, the Space Force's Space Systems Command's Deputy Program Executive Officer for Assured Access to Space.
What
now,
a title.
that is a hell of a title.
Oof.
The USSF's Space System Command's Deputy Program Executive Officer for Assured Access to Space said, Lane 1 is more commercial-like missions.
The title.
I know it. What was the guy's name again? That was 10 words ago.
Yeah.
He said Lane 1 is more commercial-like missions or missions that can be risk-tolerant. Like, you don't have to worry about bringing people back a lot. Lane 2 is for those more critical payloads, the ones that we want to go direct inject to GEO so we save the fuel on the satellite so we can maneuver in space if we need to maneuver to a different area or maybe avoid things. So that's Lane 2. So more important is Lane 2. Another requirement for being eligible for Lane 2 was the ability to launch rockets from both the Western range and the Eastern range. All right. SpaceX is already in the process of bringing online Slick 6 at Vandenberg, and they launched from the Cape, so they already got that covered. Meanwhile, ULA has been converting Slick 3E to its new Vulcan vehicle. That's their launch vehicle. And so they'll be able to launch from Vandenberg and the Cape. Blue Origin doesn't currently have an operational launch pad at Vandenberg, but it will reportedly build out a launch complex at Slick 9. This is the funniest part about the whole thing. Both Dave Limp, Blue Origin CEO, and ULA President and CEO Tori Bruno, they congratulated each other and SpaceX in posts on X in response to their business's announcement. But Elon took a different tact.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
Here's what Elon said. He said, winning 60% of the missions may sound generous, but the reality is that all SpaceX competitors combined cannot currently deliver the other 40%. I hope they succeed, but they aren't there yet. So,
that's a good point. He hit it on the head.
Yeah. And I forgot to read the breakdown, but yeah, SpaceX is getting like 60% of these missions, and then the other two are going to get the rest.
He's
40%.
a proven identity. They're not.
Yeah,
man.
he has. Yeah, he has. So
you know what else? It also begs the question: $14.2 billion to USSF. I wonder what the other branches of service are getting to update their weaponry, update their tactics, update their facilities.
Yeah.
If they're getting 14.2, is there any other money left? Holy cow!
Well, it always made me wonder, like the other branches, that they're like, hey, we're setting this aside for the Abrams tank or the B-1 bomber or this ship. How much of that is like, okay, it's in our pot. Like, hey, what if we just take a few $100 million out of this one and shovel it over here, right?
Man, that definitely begs the question.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, but it's not like personnel are costing the government a lot. Space Force barely has any, right?
Right.
So
true.
And they're not spending a lot on PT gear. It's just
or
they're good.
Or the soldiers' lunch food or dinner food or the chow hall.
That's right. They've cut all of that stuff. Yeah, they've cut all that stuff.
No vans from the gate. Yeah, that's just nothing there, man.
Right. So it's all into the rockets. Yeah. So anyway, good news for them. SpaceX, of course, right? But it does make you wonder. I mean, it's a cocky thing to say, but I think Musk just says things, and he's probably
sort of like
more
Trump.
right. Yeah. And he's probably right. I mean, Blue Origin's just starting out, and ULA has had issues, right? I mean, ULA used to be the prime provider, and that's why they're like, we got to get some other people in this thing. So,
Sure.
anyway, good news for them. SpaceX, of course, right? But I think Musk just says things, and he's probably right. I mean, Blue Origin's just starting out, and ULA has had issues, right? I mean, ULA used to be the prime provider, and that's why they're like, we got to get some other people in this thing. So
Well, hopefully those companies stay alive, because apparently if the market continues to take the dive, I may have to go back to work. And I'm hoping they're looking for a good security officer.
Just write it out,
An
baby. Just
expensive
write it out.
security officer.
Right?
So
Yeah,
you guys
that's
are
true.
having problems with your IRAs as well?
Oh, yeah,
sure.
man.
Well,
Everybody's taking a beating. All the stocks
Mine
are
looks
taking a beating.
terrible. Right now.
it does, but especially IRAs or mutual funds or whatever it's going to be, it's long term, right? So they're supposed to be buying this dip. If the managers are doing it right, they're supposed to be buying this dip. So when it comes back up, but
Yeah,
my
but the problem
sister
with that
is
philosophy is they'll always tell you it's a long-term investment. Well, guess what? We
yeah.
60-year-old boomers don't have long-term.
Don't have- well, yeah, my
anymore.
my
Don't take
sister's
it
in the
all.
same boat. She is retired,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Oh, I lost 60,000 off of this thing," and they're like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Lost more
real,
than that.
right? Yeah, it's real. So, but if you can hold on,
I hope he's right.
I
I
know,
mean,
me too.
I'm on board. And I talked to my finance guy today. I said, Dave, do I need to go back to work? And he goes, no, not yet.
Not
I'm like,
yet.
okay. Thanks, bud.
That's all timing. Yeah, right.
Ooh, yeah.
But when
So
he
I'm
takes
hoping.
your Social Security and your Medicare, and
You know what I want to go do? I want to go be what is it called? A security guard at Walmart.
you don't want to do that.
Theft control, if they pay me well.
That's crime prevention.
Yeah, because you don't have to tackle them. You don't have to really you don't have to do anything. You just tell them, hey, I see you stealing, and they can walk off, put it back down, and leave, right?
Yeah.
Nowadays, because of the laws, nobody can.
That's got to be worth 6 figures, right?
I don't know.
I don't think
Shut
so.
up.
You better stay where you're at.
Who's you guys got a phone buzzing? I can hear
Nope.
it through them.
Yeah, I did too. It wasn't me.
Anna. She's checking it. So
Anna.
look at that side eye. Look at that. Okay.
That's funny.
Well, she muted us, so she's talking now. So
Yeah.
have you ever used Starlink? Have you actually used Starlink?
No.
I haven't either. I don't even know how to start using Starlink if I wanted to. Right.
I know the guys out east have it, like in Elizabeth. My brother-in-law was talking about it
that makes
there,
sense.
so
That makes sense.
I've never seen it.
Well, Starlink, for those, because I wasn't sure exactly what it provides. I just hear Starlink being thrown out and stuff like that. So I looked it up. Starlink is a satellite internet service operated by SpaceX designed to provide high-speed, low-latency broadband internet access globally, particularly in remote and rural areas. So I was like, oh, okay. It's internet access.
Yeah,
I thought
it's
it was
Starlink.
Starlink. Do you use
I have
Starlink?
Mhm.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. I want to buy a mini one so I can go camping with it, but
Isn't it Elon Musk's thing too? It's Elon's.
It is. Yeah. It's SpaceX. Yeah. Is reliable? Is good?
Yeah.
You've seen
I like it.
it's
Well,
good.
I mean, as
Well,
any satellite link,
Sure.
it goes down during inclement weather, but not down. It just degrades.
So, yeah. And you're out east a little bit, right?
I am.
Sort of.
I'm 15 minutes east of Monument.
Okay.
Okay. Could be spotty out there anyway. So
Yeah.
how's it cost? The cost is good?
Yeah, it's not bad. It's $100 a month.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Starlink's got that going, right? But now it looks like they may have some competition.
Ooh.
SpaceX. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I got this story from, I don't know how I ran into it, but it's from the droidguy.com.
Droid guy.
The droid guy. Right?
Nice.
So his story is Amazon's Project Kuiper set to challenge SpaceX's Starlink with an April 9th launch tomorrow. Amazon is poised to make a significant entry into the satellite internet arena with the scheduled launch of its first operational satellites for Project Kuiper on tomorrow. This ambitious initiative aims to deploy a constellation of over 3,200 satellites into low Earth orbit, directly challenging SpaceX's Starlink in the burgeoning market for global broadband connectivity.
Hmm.
So all the stuff we got up there, and they're going to throw another 3,200 up in LEO.
Unbelievable.
Right? Project Kuiper distinguishes itself with a focus on user accessibility through innovative hardware design. That sounds like an advertisement, doesn't it? The project offers a compact terminal weighing just 1 pound and measuring 7 inches
1
square,
pound.
capable of delivering speeds up to 100 megabytes per second, tailored for individual users. For residential and business applications, a more robust terminal provides speeds up to 1 gigabyte per second. These devices are expected to be competitively priced, with the smallest terminal costing under $400, reflecting Amazon's intent to make satellite internet more accessible to a broader demographic.
Well, I'm kind of curious because HughesNet, do you remember HughesNet?
I remember HughesNet, sure.
HughesNet has been around, and they still are. I'm kind of wondering because they were first.
What are they running off of? What are they?
I thought that was satellite-based. Satellite-based too.
Fiber. No,
I thought it was
don't know.
satellite.
I don't know, but I do remember HughesNet.
Yes.
I remember hearing about
it's
that.
still out there. It really is. So,
before Starlink.
Say again.
So this is
HughesNet before Starlink.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember it years ago. Yeah.
I don't remember HughesNet.
Let's see.
Crazy.
Well, as you're looking it up, the rest of the article says entering a market dominated by SpaceX's Starlink. So this Project Kuiper is planning on putting 3,200 up there. Starlink already has 8,000 satellites.
Do you see how they launch them?
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, it's like a boom. It's really
I think it's like 40 to 50 of those little
at a shot. Yeah,
buddies like going into orbit.
If only they would make that sound like a Jetson sound, you know.
HughesNet still exists. I'm pretty sure it's satellite based on what I said, but I didn't go all into the article to see.
Yeah.
I understand.
But it's definitely satellite.
Amazon's Project Kuiper faces a formidable challenge. However, Amazon's extensive experience in cloud computing through Amazon Web Services provides a strategic advantage. How? I don't know. I didn't go into that deep. By potentially bundling internet services with other enterprise solutions, Amazon aims to differentiate Project Kuiper and appeal to business and government sectors.
Oh, excuse me.
Additionally, Amazon has secured agreements for 80 launch missions across multiple providers, including ULA, Ariane Space, which launches out of French Guiana, I think.
Yeah.
And Blue Origin. So, demonstrating a robust commitment to rapid deployment and scalability. It would be funny if they're like, hey, we're launching our Amazon satellites on SpaceX's satellite. That would be hilarious, right?
I wonder if they're like interconnected administratively. Technically, I'll use your satellite. You can use mine.
Oh, that would be cool. I bet. No way.
That would be
right?
Cool, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because I would assume for us, networks would be really strong, right? Yeah.
But the companies be like, no way. I'm not going to let you. That would be like, hey, I bought a charger for Tesla. Can I use it on a Toyota? And they're like, sure. They'd be like,
that's like an iPhone. The iPhone series.
Oh, absolutely.
Freaking chargers changed.
Yeah.
Then you got to buy the adapter because you don't want to
buy the dongle. You got to buy.
Put it on something that you guys know. For instance, you've got the NRO's own network.
Yeah.
You got an NRO backbone. NSA won't let you play on their backbone.
Yeah, right.
Which is kind of silly, but boy, they keep it segregated hard.
Oh, yeah.
So I would assume
there's got to be some proprietary there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely. And plus, these are two billionaires battling it out. I mean, Elon went up there, and you think Bezos ain't going? I wonder if I could get up there too. Additionally, Amazon is exploring direct-to-device services, potentially enabling smartphones to connect directly to satellites, which could revolutionize mobile connectivity, especially in remote areas. So, Anna, you said you're on Starlink now. Is that just your normal iPhone connecting to Starlink?
It's my Wi-Fi.
Your internet service.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
internet service. Sorry.
All right. So they're talking about possibly having your phone connect up to the
But
to the
but
satellites.
only to run internet, right? That's not going to be
I don't know.
It's
for
Wi-Fi too.
communication,
I don't know.
right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. The internet on your phone would be accessible. I don't think the phone that does the communication piece of it would be.
Yeah, you might be right.
No, yeah, you're right. I still
It
have
does.
cellular.
It does say potentially enabling smartphones to connect directly to satellites. Does that
Okay.
turn a smartphone into a sat phone?
Maybe.
I
I
think
don't
so.
know.
I would assume
That
so.
would be something, though. If
Well,
that was
you're
the
damn.
case, if you can get internet and phone service, you'd be like, sign me up. And they're like, $300.
Well, if you don't have a new iPhone, you
you.
better go get it because the tariffs are going to cost you. You're not going to be able to afford a new one.
Oh,
anyway.
yeah. Right. I guess
Might
I'm
as
stuck
well
with
be a
this
sat
iPhone
phone.
14 for a while. So we'll see.
You're not getting a new one.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Okay. God, we're at our last story already. That was quick.
Whoa.
Our last story, but the best story.
I like this one.
So after all those space stories, right, we're going to bring a story back down to Earth.
I like it.
About 1 inch above Earth, actually. So this story is from taskandpurpose.com. A hero rat sets Guinness World Record for detecting landmines.
That is so cool.
I know. But
'Cause
wait
rats
till
are
you
really
hear some of this, right?
stinking
Pretty
smart.
neat. Yeah, it's pretty neat that they have people who trained rats to go
So
do this.
fun.
maybe
would do
maybe
that.
that's what you could do. Yeah, you could do that.
I would do that.
On your breaks at Walmart, you could go out back and you have your little rat training yard. You know?
Yeah, but I don't want to house them.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Hey, what was the movie with Angelina Jolie where the guy attacks their castle or their fortress with a bunch of rats with little bombs on them and they're running all over the place?
What?
Where do you watch?
Angelina Jolie.
Eric?
I've never
spy.
heard that. No.
She's
I've
a
never heard of that.
spy,
Yeah.
right? And they recruit this young kid whose father used to be a spy who was shot. So he creates all these little rats, puts little watches on them connected to explosive devices, dumps them into their fortress or a truck, and explodes the whole place.
Never
I've
seen
never
this.
heard of that.
Oh, I'm
Never
gonna have to
seen
tell you.
this.
If you're listening, you heard of
Angelina
that. Let us know
Jolie.
what crazy. I don't think Angelina Jolie was in the movie,
How many Rotten
telling you.
Tomatoes did that movie get?
but
Telling
Eric's
you.
pretty good at that recall, so I do gotta give
I'm
him credit. We'll
telling
see.
you, it was
right.
called Wanted. Wanted.
I guess I
2008
didn't want
action
to see
thriller.
It does seem like I've seen Wanted. I remember nothing about rats in it.
It's because you didn't like the movie, apparently.
Was Wanted the one where they could like curve the bullets? Was that that stupid movie?
Yes, where she shot around the pig.
Yeah.
Or the
yeah.
dead woman and hit the pig. Yes.
Yeah.
Morgan
I-
Freeman's in it.
Well, I don't remember rats with watches at
So
all.
when young Wesley attacks the fortress where she's at, he's
How
got
many times
rats
have we
all,
seen?
all in the truck, and they've got little watches that are set with timers to explode. You gotta
All
check that
right,
out.
I'll have to look that up. I won't believe you until I see it because I do remember that movie. I was like, this is the most moronic movie I've ever seen.
Pretty bad. But
Um,
he used rats, which was pretty cool.
Well, what's
Relating
more
it back to your
realistic,
story.
being able to curve a bullet or train a rat to go drop a bomb? You might say the rat when you hear this article.
That's what I'm
Boom.
thinking.
So, millions of anti-personnel landmines are buried around the world, and while groups work to remove them safely in recent years, they've turned to a novel tool to help: rats. And one rat based out of Cambodia has now detected more landmines than any other rat in history. So this is Ronan. Wow, let me show you the picture.
Who? Ronan. the rat?
Ronan. Ronan the rat. There he is.
Oh, look how cute. He's got a
Me-
little leash.
I know. I don't know if it's a leash or an antenna
A
or what is
leash.
that. So
It's a
meet
leash.
Ronan. Ronan has detected 109 landmines and 15 items of unexploded ordnance since 2021. So
Come on, is this serious?
yes, it's serious. 4 years. What's that? He's averaging like 25 a year, 20 some a year.
Where do they train these guys?
Well, I don't know. That's a secret location. They haven't told us that.
Where's the training camp for these guys?
Interesting.
That's according to both APOPO, the charity that trained the African giant pouched rat, and the Guinness Book of World Records, which declared Ronan the new record holder. So are they on line
He's
for
the
like his
man.
last 2 finds, and they're like, oh, you didn't get one today. We'll try tomorrow.
Who is the person that's counting
I know.
for the Guinness World Record?
How many people do they got employed at the Guinness Book of World Records? Like 10? Yeah,
I'm
they're
a-
like,
That's
hey,
too
we
funny.
got a rat in Cambodia. It's like,
I'm a counter for Guinness World Record.
yeah, oh yeah, what's your card? And it's like, we don't have a card. Like, okay, come on in. He's currently working in Vihar province in Cambodia, one of the most heavily mined countries in the world.
What?
So, and that also like makes me wonder. Whenever they talk about all these landmines, right? All these unexploded landmines, and they're all over the world, and it's the most heavily mined place in the world. When are they laying all these mines? And do they just keep going and keep
And
going
where is
and
this?
keep going? He's working out of Cambodia.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Right.
You probably said.
But where are they getting all the landmines? And how long have they been laying them down there? Right.
Well, I mean, they're still finding mines in Europe from World War II,
I know. That's true.
which is crazy.
And we also have a way, we can deliver mines through artillery, through air, and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
I get it, but it doesn't seem like we ever make a dent. Nobody comes out and goes, "We cleared this field. Look at this. No more mines." Yeah. We never get that celebration. It's like, nope, more mines. Need more money. Need more rats.
That would be so cool to give him all the responsibility. Find it, rat.
Yeah,
Let's
well,
go.
Yeah, you might be a little disappointed in that because
How does he respond? Like, how does he know that there's a mine?
I don't know. Let's find out. The Guinness Book of World Records announced Ronan's achievement on April 4th, which happens to be, now this sounds made up, but April 4th, which happened to be both International Day for Mine Awareness and Assistance in Mine Action and World Rat Day. Come on, are you serious?
I've never heard of World Rat Day.
I know, I've never.
Where did you get this article? Come on.
It's
Task and purpose, right?
Yes, task and purpose.
You know what? They've got a day for every freaking thing else. You might as well have one for rats.
True. Yeah. Hey, what do you got up for April 4th?
Rat Day.
Rat Day.
Okay, it's going down.
And who's like keeping track of what day?
I know. Who's the official keeper of all the world days? Right?
Official Margarita Day. It's official National Hot Dog
Hey,
Day.
what are you drinking? Gin and tonic. Hey, it's Gin and Tonic Day. Look at that.
Can't you imagine 16th Street Square Mall with people walking their rats on leashes?
You know they would do it. Colorado's crazy enough that they probably got enough people. They'd be like, "Hey,
hell, they should have made it
rat.
closer. They should have made it closer to April 20th, then, right? See my rat?
Oh yeah, right.
We're talking to your rat.
Rat Day. Well, that could be the people who are telling on the people who are smoking.
Unbelievable.
That's the rats.
This year, 420 is on Easter. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel very emotionally.
Yeah.
I feel emotionally about that. I don't know why.
My grandmother wouldn't have appreciated it. That's for sure.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
No.
Well, I'm sure if they had it back in Jerusalem, they may have been like, "Hey, let's do a little hit." Right? I'm sure they had
they
some
do hash, don't they?
Herb, right? Yeah,
the
they got
opium,
hash pipes and all that stuff.
Milk of the puppy.
All right, we're back to Ronan. Let's get back to Ronan. Okay. Ronan, who works with a handler in the field, set the record for work done between August 2021 and February 2025. He's one of dozens of specially trained rodents active in locating landmines for demining efforts. Rats such as Ronan are trained to sniff out chemicals in the explosives. Their hard work also lets them cover distances at a quicker rate than a human with a metal detector. That sense of smell also means they focus on chemical compounds and don't get potentially misled by random bits of metal. They're also trained on a grid system, and when in the field, their small size allows them to find and get to the landmines without setting them off.
Crazy.
Now here's where
We
you're
should have
like,
had
oh
those in
yeah,
Iraq.
let's celebrate this rat. But Ronan and other rats work only 30 minutes every day.
What kind of shit is that?
That's it. 30 minutes. They're like,
Well, their attention span
back in the
isn't
pen.
that long.
Like,
I'm just joking. I have no idea. I'm totally joking.
I wonder what the hell that's got to do with it.
30 minutes. Well, they're little legs. They can't keep going. I don't know.
Oh, don't give me that. They run all over your house all the time.
Well, true, but maybe it
all
is
day
like, hey, you trained me to smell out this thing that now I think is food, and you're not giving me any food. So, you get 30 minutes out of me, and then you better start feeding me. And once you feed me, I'm really tired, so I'm not.
No, now they have a union. They have a union that
The rat busting union.
Oh my
Did
god!
you work 45 minutes? Oh,
wow!
Fine.
Unbelievable.
Ronan's record includes 38 more mines than the previous record holder, Magawa. In a 5-year career, Magawa detected 71 landmines and 38 other unexploded ordnance in Cambodia. In 2020, Magawa was awarded a gold medal from a veterinary charity for his efforts. Magawa died in 2022 at the old age of 8.
Stepped on a mine.
Old age
of 8.
Has PETA heard of this mine rat?
Oh,
like have
working
they
for the man, the literal man, right?
And it's inhumane to just blow
good.
up a rat.
That's good. It's like, lost that one. But
call up the next volunteer.
Well, does that mine count go into their total if they blow themselves up on a mine?
I would say, yeah, we'll give it to them.
Right?
Yeah, we'll give it to them.
Yeah.
No.
Like, well, you did find that one, the hard one.
So do they search off leash? Do they search off?
I don't know.
I mean,
that's all the information I could get.
Here, boy.
Well, yeah. I'm sure he's like, hey, there's some food over here. It's not explosive. Maybe that's why it's 30 minutes a day. Because if you let him go, they'll be like, F this.
I'm about it. Yeah.
And there goes Ronan. He be Roman.
Ronan is Roman.
It wasn't the rhyme. It was the euphemism. He be Roman.
He gone.
Bring the next one up. God damn it. This guy only works 30 minutes a day.
Who trains him? And then how do they know that he's queuing on a mine?
Yeah, good point. Yeah, who's going to dig that son of a bitch up, right?
I would assume they're doing explosive contents materials just like you do when you train an MWD.
Well, I want to know, what do they do? Do they run around in a circle? Do they like point like a dog?
Stand up on 2 legs?
Smack their tail or something? Or, yeah, right.
Wow.
But think of the poor SOB from Guinness Book of World Records. So this guy's doing maybe 2 a month. All right, on average, he's doing 2 a month, working 30 minutes a day.
The rat beats his ass.
Right? And they're probably calling him and they're like, hey, this guy's 2 away from the record. And he's like, I spent 2 months in Cambodia watching this rat for half an hour a day. Finally, he found the second one to break the record.
Yes.
Crazy.
And that's his goal in life.
Yeah.
What a story. But you know what? It totally makes sense. When you talk about the Navy using dolphins to, locate mines on side of boats and all kinds. I mean, they're using animals for all kinds. Why not a rat?
Well, we do use working dogs, right?
That brings a new philosophy to IED. Why don't they just bring a bunch of animals like rabbits and rats and just like release them?
Strap little
Let them
mines to them.
explode Yeah.
Who's going to be able to stop? Who has a weapon besides a flamethrower, I guess? But who has a weapon to stop 1,000 rats coming at you with hand grenades?
No, nobody.
No way, right?
Did you read the private chat I sent you?
You know, I'm doing all this. I don't have a producer, Eric. You know that.
Okay.
I don't have I can't read private chat. What is this?
He bought a lot of peanut butter at the grocery store.
What is this from?
The movie.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh my god!
But I'm telling you, look,
this was real.
I thought it was
used to
real
kill rats. Used to attract a large number of rats to the junkyard. He used peanut butter. Then placed them in the back of a dump truck. Reverse the dump truck and boom.
Oh my god! I thought this was how they were training them. I saw peanut butter. I was like, "Oh, is this how they do it?"
No.
So disappointing.
I'm sorry. I burst
But
everyone's
good one.
bubble.
That was a good one. Eric, Jake would have appreciated that. So. All right, Eric, go ahead and top Ronan with your day in military history.
I don't know how you beat a rat story, man. I really don't.
What's the oldest rat?
It's no Douglas the camel, but
no.
Probably a little more valuable than Douglas the camel.
When was the first time we used an animal in a war operation?
Oh, Anna, you missed our competition for the best animal in the military history.
Who's that?
When?
I'll send you the episode.
Oh.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Y'all had to do research.
We got to get back on
animal.
that. We got to think of a new topic to do our best stuff on. So,
all right,
Eric.
So
what do you got?
Tonight's quick. It is a good one though. It took place in April 9th, 1865. Any clues? Any guesses? No.
1865.
1865.
Yes.
Well, that's
absolutely
around
measles.
Civil War time.
Correct.
So that's all I got.
Okay, so on April 9th, 1865, after 4 years of civil war, approximately 630,000 deaths and over 1 million casualties, General Robert E. Lee surrendered the Confederate Army of Northern Virginia to Lieutenant General Ulysses S. Grant.
Was this Appomattox?
Yep, at the home of Wilmer and Virginia McLean in the rural town of Appomattox Courthouse, Virginia. Lee arrived at McLean home shortly after 1 p.m., followed half hour later by General Grant. The meeting lasted approximately an hour and a half. There are 16 people that are known to have attended at least part of the meeting, as shown in Keith Rocco's painting. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to list the names, but I wanted to tell you the terms. The terms agreed to by General Lee and Grant and accepted by the federal government would become the model used for all the other surrenders which shortly followed. The surrender of the Army of Northern Virginia allowed the federal government to redistribute forces and bring increased pressure to bear in other parts of the South, resulting in the surrender of the remaining field armies of the Confederacy. Because it wasn't all just drop your guns. It was, hey, we surrendered. And then it started reaching, communication started reaching. And then on April 26, General Joseph Johnston surrendered to Sherman near Durham, North Carolina. And then it just continues. May 4th, June 2nd, June 23rd. So it continued. But April 9th started the kickoff of the end of the war.
Wow. Wait, the end of the war? Oh, because the surrender. And then it had to get out to everybody, right?
Yeah, get the word out to everybody. So,
hey,
big deal.
Eric
I'm
and
guessing
Anna,
you didn't.
Guess who I didn't text about starting early?
Oh, well, welcome, Juanito.
Oh, no. It's okay. Hey, I didn't receive my text today, so guess what? I am late for changeover.
Thanks for joining us.
That was good.
Juan, I didn't think you were going to be here. I texted these two because I know Jake was gone, and so we started at 7.
Just
man.
So, like,
but is there a story that you would like to comment? We will let you get that in.
Absolutely.
Oh no. I was just like, I was gonna just join the team and I'll go there. I mean, I didn't get into the details with the story, so.
Well, good. Then let's do this, because I do have a question about Eric's history. Was April 9th was the surrender at Appomattox, the end of the Civil War, right?
General Lee to Grant.
Okay.
So where do you guys fall down? It's been several years since they started this thing, but it actually kind of culminated with them renaming. So, knowing your history of the Civil War and what Lincoln did to outreach and why some of these army posts and other things were named after Civil War or Southern generals, right? It
officers.
was
Yeah.
kind of an outreach to
Mhm.
acknowledge their their accomplishments. But then there is a valid other reason where they're like they were traitors, and you go, you know what? That
Mhm.
you can't dispute that. You can't dispute that. So where did you guys fall on that whole debate on should we be honoring any Confederates at all? Technically, to the letter of the law, yeah, they were traitors. But at the same time, and that's why Lincoln did it, right? In an effort to kind of heal the country, to
Reunite.
acknowledge their leadership and their kind of thing. So where did you guys all fall on that?
So I think so. Where I'm at on it, like they took down the statues and stuff like that. Look, there's a historical thing to where it sparks discussion,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
So
sure.
I'm not saying so much, oh, we're honoring this statue or nothing like that. But hey, this is a statue of General Lee, and this is what he did. Here's the whole history.
Yeah.
Whether you agree on it, whether you agree with it or not, right? Like I
Right.
didn't agree with anything that he did, but to not to erase the history, but that goes back with not erasing any history. Because a couple episodes
Right.
ago, we were talking about how they were erasing because of this whole DEI movement. They were erasing
Yeah.
African American history. They were doing
Yeah.
this, so you just kind of have your like you have it one way and not the other, right? So
Well, I don't
let's
think
have a real talk
they're
about this.
right. I don't think they're necessarily erasing it. They're just not highlighting it. I think that's the
Either
point
way,
of what they're
though,
trying
but
to do. Because it's like, hey, Juan Lopez charged this hill and saved 15 people, right? That's badass. But if I go, Juan Lopez was a Mexican who joined the Air Force, and you're like, well, what, because he was Mexican? They're like, yeah. And you're like,
Well, you know what? I
So-
have to take one step
so I
back,
think
because the term traitor, when you're talking about the Confederacy,
yeah.
none of them felt that they were traitors.
They thought they were right. Go ahead.
states
Sorry.
were going to pull out, govern themselves.
Yeah.
So it wasn't about being a traitor, as far as I'm concerned.
Good point. That's a good point. I never even
Yeah.
thought. Yeah,
I don't
that's
think
a good
so.
Yeah,
but
but
I
I just
also
think
agree with Juan that I think you don't remove the bad just because it was bad. Because I'm a
Sure.
true believer in that comment where if you forget the past, you're going to repeat.
Right.
I'm a firm believer in that.
Well,
So
I
think,
also think some of that movement was overblown because they went, oh, these guys were slave owners, and it was like, wait, they were more than that, all right.
yeah.
But they used that, got momentum, and then they took stuff down, renamed things, and I was like, I don't think that's right. We weren't.
And it's a terrible
honoring-
argument because people were still being slaves going into the damn 50s and 60s,
Sure.
if you really want to think about it. I mean,
There's slavery still in the world, right?
Dr. King was trying to fight that off in the 60s.
Yeah.
People were being killed. And I mean,
Right.
and that was north, not as bad as south, but northern territories and states had their problems too.
I think what you bring up is a good point in the sense that what was your point?
The traders, they weren't traders.
No, they were trying to preserve what they believed in. It was just a difference, right? It was
Correct.
Jefferson Davis that said we got to do this, and so they were like, okay, I'll support that. But they weren't necessarily. But they did want to leave the Union. So I see that argument. That's an easier argument to make. But at the same time, if you ever read, and I read that a great book about the Civil War. What is it? Angels and or Killer Angels, right? Same guy who wrote Killer Angels wrote a book about the Mexican-American War. And that was really fascinating because you have Captain Lee and Captain Longstreet, and all these guys are
younger officers
and Lieutenant Grant, and they're all mingling together, all in one army,
Well, they
and
all of them went to West Point.
Oh, West
together.
Point. Yeah. But they all served already. They already fought in the war. and now they're on either side. So I don't know. Thought it was interesting. That thought that was a good
Well, yeah. I
history
mean,
to
I
bring up.
guess like it's so funny because we go deep into like this conversation, right? And then if you look at all the states that were taken from Mexico, the names of the cities that were named
Yeah.
after saints,
Yeah.
and through stuff, and you could say that they lost it and they could have changed it, which there has been some changes, like but then it's also knowing the history behind those changes, right? But it's just interesting. I think it's like one of those things that you're not gonna please everyone. But
I
like
think,
I said, I am
yeah,
really in the mindset of having the discussion of the history and why it was bad, why what led to it, and why we are here today. I believe those are the things that you're preserving by
I
having
think,
some of these things, right?
Yeah, right or wrong, ugly
I know that
or
makes
good,
sense.
but
Like, yeah.
yeah, I'm with you. I know what you mean. We had to take
I
all
know
those different steps to get to where we are today. All those
yeah.
led to where we are today.
And that certainly wasn't the worst thing that was done. I mean, you could go back through history and see things that were done to countries and people that were
Right.
horrible.
Right.
I mean, the Civil War wasn't the only one.
No.
No,
There's some
a lot of stuff.
there's some ethnic cleansing going on in a lot of countries.
Absolutely,
So
man.
Like I didn't know about the battle. I was driving from Oklahoma to Colorado, and is it the Sand Creek Massacre?
yeah, Sand Creek Massacre.
Sand Creek Massacre.
Yeah, I was just and then because so here's the thing. This is what I'm talking about discussions. I'm driving through it. I didn't stop. It's like, hey, this is a historical location, and I use red. But it made me go home and look into it.
Yeah.
And further
Ask the
detail.
question.
And I guess that's what I'm talking about, right? It's not that so much that we're celebrating it. It's discussing it. So
No, it happened.
I mean, I can see
know about it.
yeah, and I can see the different point of views and why some people might not agree with it, or it's like they might see it differently, but we can't please everyone. I don't know. But Anna seemed like she was about to, yeah.
We're always shaping history. If
Yeah.
you think about it, everyone,
Yeah.
I mean, think of even NFL is shaping the history of the names of the football teams because somehow we're displeasing someone and someone has a big.
So that was interesting, and I don't know what the truth is behind the Redskins. But from what I read before in different articles that Native Americans told that there are some Native Americans that they were okay with the team calling Redskins because there's some historical significant. I might be wrong. Like I said, I'm not going to be on this podcast and say, but I've also read conflicting things about it, and maybe it's on us to okay, let me really look this up and see what happened.
Well, sure. If it's an easy slur to go to, right?
Yeah.
It's like calling Asians yellow. You call the Indians Redskins. Black, brown. It's an easy slur.
Yeah.
But I think there is a deeper thing with the Redskins in the sense that was a battle thing. Yeah. I think I had read that one time.
Oh.
Well, and I also heard the same thing that Juan did, where the actual Indian Nation came to the owners of Washington.
Oh, I've heard that too.
They didn't mind.
They actually liked it because it brought them
attention
to them.
Yeah.
Where else are you going to see Indian heads and all that stuff? So, now when you get to the Cleveland Indians and their mascot is Chief Wahoo, okay, maybe that's not as reverent as you'd want them to be.
But I am truly happy that we're cutting out some of the nonsense with the DIE or DEI.
Oh yeah, I agree.
I mean, come on, guys. Some of it's joking, and it's not meant personal, and it's not meant to hurt. It's supposed to make you chuckle and laugh. Going back to Sanford and Sons, the Jeffersons, All in the Family. I mean, come on.
Well, St. John's University was the Redmen for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
And now they're the Red Storm. So, but by changing that, are we better now? Are we all good?
I don't know.
Do I feel better?
Somebody's a little bit more rich.
Well, somebody
has to hear these trials or whatever petitions, and somebody has to make a decision on it, and that's a patient, right?
Yeah, right.
So
but
it's interesting.
I don't know. It's it's an interesting debate. But going back to the Civil War, guys, I think it's not like we were putting statues of KKK people up, and they're like, oh, maybe we shouldn't have done that. Oh, let's take that down. These guys were distinguished in battle. They were respected before they opposed each other.
And by the way,
and the communities loved them too.
For 200 years.
Yeah, we're 200 years.
How's the statue going to hurt you?
Right.
Whether it be right or wrong, it doesn't hurt you. It's a statue. Don't look at it. Don't walk by it.
It's got a reason. It had a reason. You like the reason, you don't like it.
And I've never got to see any of those statues, right? Obviously, because I'm out west, and if I went out there, honestly, if I probably saw the statue, I probably didn't pay any attention because oh, cool, it's a statue. But it's like one of those things. Like a lot of them have a plate, and that plate could talk about, hey, from this year, General so and so led this and that, and they lost in battle. Which this loss in battle also led to the liberties of the slaves and blah blah blah, right?
Oh yeah.
So like I said, have those discussions there and be like, oh, okay, that was like same thing. I mean, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of statues even in the old world of people that were probably, depending on what culture you come from, in the same country that are perceived their enemies, stuff like that. But it kind of erases thing. Like let's talk about when the Gulf War kicked off, or the fight against terrorism, right? And they were going in there and destroying historical artifacts, ancient artifacts, trying to erase that history. I don't agree with
point.
That, right?
Yeah, that was what ISIS did. They went in and tore down all the history, right?
Yeah,
but that's also a tactic to like make people forget and start worshiping us, that kind of thing. So it seemed very similar to the movement that was happening in this country. It was like,
and like I said, by any means, I did not agree with what the South was doing, but I think it forces those discussions. And that's where I
would have rather see a movement that was like, you got that statue? We want a statue put up. It's like, okay, I can have opposing statues, but why is it all just let's tear it down, tear it all down? It's like, well, why don't you just put up your own?
But I still think that those statues could still go into an American History Museum. I don't know what they did with those statues.
Yeah, right. They could have kept it. Yeah.
Well, and you know what? To make a point here, in 1900, like 1901, 1902, they were having reunions between the soldiers that fought at Gettysburg in certain battles, where they're actually in their uniform, shaking hands with each other.
That's perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. One didn't like what you were doing, the other, but now we're shaking hands.
Sure.
We're freaking,
moving
respecting
past
the dead, moving past, right? Learning from the lessons of that combat or that war.
Right.
So I don't agree with removing the statues.
Yeah, I didn't either. I didn't like
the other argument I've heard from other people's like, well, you don't celebrate the losing team. That's what you hear. No, I'm being serious.
Right,
that's what you hear.
Right. Yeah, you go talk to the guys in the South. They're still celebrating that.
They
General Lee's a General Lee for a reason.
Swing that Confederate flag still to this day.
Oh yeah, right.
To this day.
I will say that those. So like, at least for me, with some of the stuff that I grew up with and kind of witnessed and been exposed to, I will tell you that it's a shame that sometimes the own American flag, depending on how it's used, scares me.
I can understand
Just
that.
straight up. Depending
like
on how it's used and what group of people are surrounded by it and what they're advocating for.
I got you. Yeah.
No, but I'm saying, so like going to the Confederate flag, right? When like me thinking like the first thing I'm gonna resort to, it's whatever. But then I have friends that I've met in the military. That I had one friend that had a Confederate flag belt buckle that was passed on to him from his grandfather, and I asked him about it, right? So it's just like one of those things, like like when I first see it, I first think of like, oh, this is like what's going on here, and then you kind of pull on that string, like, oh, yeah, it was my grandfather's. I'm attached to it because he gave it to me, this and that. Sure. I know that some people don't agree that I wear it, but they don't ask me why I have it. Right.
Yeah.
And then so like I said, it's just I think we put too much energy in hate, and it's just
I agree with you, Juan. Totally agree with you. Oh my gosh, so much energy and effort into just not being happy. Just be.
Yeah. It's like, it's like what I was saying. You got to tear down everything. I was like, why don't you just build something else? In addition, I'd support that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, that would be awesome for me because it would be like, oh, cool. Who else fought in this battleground where they put this general, let's say General Lee's here? Who was the opposing general? I want to know, right? Like, I want to know who he battled and what people were there, and put the
Right.
opposite statue. I think that would be a great idea.
Yeah, sure. But it's all destruction, right? It's always destruction, which is different motivation. So, all right, Juan, we got you in on an in-depth thing. You got a little bit out. How's the classes going? You almost done?
They're good. I still got till December.
Damn.
And
Are you waving?
but hey,
you're about to...
growing the hair. Look how curly these
I'm about
curls
to
are, man.
leave.
Like,
I need to eat.
I know. Anna's got to go. Hold on.
He's hangry.
Okay. Let's end up. On behalf of all of us here, I'd like to thank you for listening today. Please like, share, subscribe, and let us know how we get in the comments. And make sure next week that you are not
late for Changeover.
Oh, you have the.
That's awesome.
Late for Changeover.
It's terrible.
Oh my God.
Good to see all you, Eric, Juan, Anna, Jake, wherever you are. Get back soon. And thanks for listening and watching, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.